right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Another Bourbon Show. Tonight we're going to be drinking something that Steven is providing, so I'm going to let him explain what it is we're drinking and show the bottle.
Yeah, this is Lux Row Distillers Collection. This is Lux Row Double Barrel Cask Strength. It's only available at their distillery, or at least, that's what they say. I don't know if they've ever done anything else, but it's a reason to come to the distillery. It celebrates a distillery because it comes in at 118.4 proof, which they say is a reference to the distillery itself because it opened in April. That's the fourth month of the year, you guys, for Ryan in particular. And it opened in
fucking dick.
118.4. And it is, it's aged for 12 years. So the two barrels, there's a blend of two barrels that are aged for 12 years apiece, and then they come together. And it is comprised, this particular bottle, of barrels 505B646 and barrel 5120999. And the first one was aged since July 11th of 2006, while the other one was aged from January 29th of 07. So we got an 06 and an 07 barrel in this bottle. And yeah.
I like math. And 07 to 23 is not 12 years.
Which means this guy had to be bottled sometime after that.
Sometime before that.
Yeah. Well,
So
sometime after that date. I mean, who knows when it was bottled? Of course, it was before 23, but who could even begin to guess?
Okay.
But I got it last August when I was at Lux Row in Kentucky. So went down.
Do you
to
remember
the
how much you
distillery.
paid for it?
I don't. It's expensive. It's an expensive bottle. It's like 150 something, I want to say.
Okay.
Something around there. Not something I would typically buy.
It's a lot of money for Steven to spend, by the way.
That is a lot of money for Steve.
Well, a lot of money for him to spend.
Yeah. In the Chicagoland area, maybe it's not some. I mean, you pay that for a Pepsi. Down here,
I was just calling you cheap, dude.
That's good money down here, okay? But I was looking forward to this bottle. This was one that was high on my list because I like Lux Row a lot, and it's a keepsake for having gone, basically. So I bought it for that reason. I'm sure we'll talk a little bit more about value and whether or not it's worth that price just because it is such an expensive bottle. It's almost like you're paying a secondary market price. But I think a lot of the value comes down to this super premium bottle and label and overall presentation.
Let's get the rating. Let's do the rating.
So
can you hold it up to the camera better so we can get a real good view?
So it's tough for me to rate this one because it's so much about the overall presentation and not just the label. So I'll give the label an 8 because I do think it's still very strong.
What is the label?
The label to me is, I'm just counting everything you can see on the front. That's basically what I do.
Okay.
Although if there's something particularly interesting on a bottle, I'll do the back. You know what I mean? I'm not too picky about that. But I think just counting the stuff on the front, you've got, and I don't know how easy it is to tell, but for the people who've never seen this bottle in person, this is super thick glass. And this label is metal, or at least it's part of, it's a metal like badge, probably similar but a little stronger than this this wrap up here. That's also just one of those kind of like metal-y wraps. But this, it's like inset inside the glass, so it's very premium. And in person, there's just a beautiful black here, and then really nice copper coloring that looks like a new penny or something that you would come across. Just a very good looking bottle, and with the whiskey in the background, I think it's a beautiful look, very simple look. It has glass, like embossed letters that say limited edition whiskey, Bardstown, Kentucky. And then on the bottom, it says DSPKY 20044, which is distillery number of some kind.
Correct. Yeah.
And then they have this little, it almost looks like a admission ticket there at the bottom. that kind of just has all the information. And I love that. I love how simple the presentation is. It's a double oaked, or sorry, I keep saying double oaked. It's a double barrel. And I love that immediately you just see all the information about those barrels there. It just works really well with the presentation. The only thing I don't like is a lot of people at the distillery, when I was there, and I imagine always, are asking, well, what is this? Because only down here in this like little text here, which my camera's not picking up well, but it's pretty small. And then up here, which is very small on the label itself, does it actually say what the whiskey is? The rest is just a celebration of the distillery. So that's why I knock it down a few pegs, even though I like everything else. It's hard for people to refer to this bottle a lot. And I was talking just before we started about some confusion online, or maybe not confusion, but like slang terms for it, where people will call this like Ezra Double Barrel and things like that, which I don't think are like official names, but it's just colloquially, people are coming up with ways to refer to this bottle.
Yeah.
So I take some points off for that, but the overall presentation, like I said, this thick bottle and this heavy stopper with a real cork, maybe positive, maybe negative, but a lot of people think this looks and feels nice.
Yeah.
It makes you want to immediately, you go, oh, that's going to be, I'm not going to get rid of this bottle when I'm finished with it. You know, it's a piece that you keep.
Everything about it is premium.
Yes. It's a premium experience. So,
and so I'm a little surprised that you went with an 8. I thought you would have gone higher. So thanks for including why you went lower than I thought you would. So thanks for including that. But yeah, it's fancy.
And I know we were talking beforehand. I actually have a scale here, a kitchen scale.
What do you need that for, dude?
Well, we're gonna find out.
He's gonna measure his dick.
Measure the fluid ounces of my dick. We're going to find out exactly how heavy this stopper is once and for all. It is that same copper color that is all over the bottle, and it's heavy. It's a knurled finish. That again, I would have to. Let me see if I can mess with the focus on my camera. I'm sure this will look great.
Oh, there it is. You got it. Yeah. Look at that beautiful son of a bitch.
It's just a premium feel, and it's heavy. It's a heavy. There we go. It's a heavy guy. I would not want to get hit with this. I would not want someone to throw this at me because it's a chunky stopper. This is a big part of why, if as much as we talk about twist tops, if this was a twist top, I feel like maybe you would be getting rid of it, kind of thing. The topper makes a big difference.
Yeah,
I think. So anyway, in grams, how heavy you guys think this is?
Ryan, you want to go first or second?
You said 1 pound in grams is 450 grams or so.
500 and something.
No, it's like 434 or something.
Oh, is it?
Something like that.
I'm gonna go 750 grams.
I think it's over a pound.
I think so.
I'm gonna go.
I wish I've actually felt this bottle before. So
I'm gonna go 550. I'm gonna go 550. So I still think it's over a pound.
Okay, so you think it's 550? Say yours again, Ryan.
750.
550 and 750. All right, here we go. Let me zero it out.
It's very heavy.
Is it more than my guess?
It's 101 grams.
Nuh-uh. All right.
So I guess it's not that heavy, really. It's just dense. It's just it's a compressed version of my phone, basically.
I was 7 times over the weight.
More than that.
More.
Do you have any other bottles near you?
No, I've only got this guy.
Yell for Jesse to bring you the cork of any other bottle.
All right, so she got me Midwinter Night's Dram.
Okay, let's weigh it.
With a wood top. So this
is 30 grams.
30 grams, you think?
I'm gonna guess 5.
Hold on, let me zero it out just to be sure. Yeah, it's like 11 grams.
Oh my god. Okay. So now, when we put it that way, now that cork seems a lot heavier.
Yeah,
because it's 10 times heavier than a Midwinter's Night's Dram. What's the other bottle she gave you? She brought you.
She gave me the Switchgrass Spirits Rye Whiskey.
Okay,
which
I'm
is
gonna go with 6.
6 for this guy. What do you think, Ryan?
8.
Three grams.
3.
So your edible,
3
your
grams
edible was heavier.
Yeah, the edible was heavier.
2 wars?
All right. Well, enough of this dicking around. Let's get to what matters.
No, you know what? I'm not really feeling it.
No? All right. Fuck it.
No, I was just here for the bottle segment.
I got a great nose. You smell the alcohol though. I don't think it smells 118 proof, but you smell it. But I smell alcohol, which is not a bad thing, right? It's alcohol.
Beautiful color on the.
To me, it smells like the vanilla the particular vanilla that you get if you're like smoking a cigar that has a vanilla note to it. Does that make any sense?
It does, yeah.
The vanilla-y part of a vanilla-y cigar, it's that kind of like subtle sweetness, smoky sweetness kind of thing.
Yeah.
I get like a cherry taffy or something like that.
The legs are insane.
Yeah, another one that clearly defines the line around the glass.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it just kind of smells like vanilla through like a thick filter or something even, to me.
And I can see some cherry in there, too. Very, very sweet smelling.
Yeah.
Cheers.
I'll be surprised. Cheers. I mean, we've had a couple where it was really sweet on the nose. You tried, you're like, oh, that is not sweet at all.
Oh, spicy.
Oh, you get a text
way
there,
spicier.
Dude? Did you get a text, Ryan?
No, I did not. I got an email. I'll move my phone over there.
So I get way spicier than I expected to, and like mid to late, I get hazelnut.
Ooh, I can see that. I hadn't thought that before, but I can see that.
My tongue is numb.
Yeah. But in a good way, I think.
Yeah. I still get a little bit of that cherry taffiness to it. It's definitely maybe some like tobacco spice too. Very spicy.
I think it tastes exactly the proof that it is.
Yeah.
It's not overly high. It's not I don't know, it's not like Stag Junior or something like that. That's always one that comes into my head as like one that really kicks me in the teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one, to me, it's very. To me, it's almost exactly what I expected. Honestly, when I bought the bottle, that was my first reaction. And maybe that doesn't mean much to people who haven't had a lot of Lux Row stuff, but I just think that my palate fits the distillers at Lux Row because I would say that this to me tastes like a premium bottle. I don't know that it's the best bottle I've ever had. I wouldn't go that far. Spoiler. but I just think that it's there's not a lot I find wrong with it, but I totally would get if somebody else turned their nose at it. I don't think it's everybody's palate.
Yeah.
I definitely favored the nose over the actual palate and finish to it.
That doesn't surprise me from you because one of the things that I was going to say was that I think it does taste the 118 proof, but it did not smell 118 proof. It smelled much sweeter and much more decadent than it is. It tastes much spicier, but there's sweetness to it. There's like a light caramel type of a sweetness, or almost a honey type sweetness, which surprises me with how dark it is.
A little cinnamon too.
Yeah. A lot of baking spices throughout, and like I said, one of the most so I get the vanilla, I get a little bit of cherry, but the most interesting flavor that I got was definitely the hazelnut. Because I don't remember tasting something and just being like, wow, hazelnut. And that's 100% like hit me hard, was a strong hazelnut flavor late on my palate, early in my finish, I guess you'd say. But within my mouth, not within like the throat characteristics. But yeah, so there you go. That's what I'm picking up. And a very long finish.
Yeah, feels like I just smoked a cigar when I let it sit after a few minutes.
Very acidic. Very acidic, because a few seconds after you had your last pour, it hangs around in a unique way that it's almost like I had something sour, where like I'm like almost salivating a little bit.
That kicks you in
the teeth, man. Woo.
With the spice, not the alcohol.
The spice, yeah. A sip of water.
That is a spicy boy.
You know what we haven't done in a while that it seems like Ryan should try? Maybe throw a little ice cube in there, a splash of water.
Yeah, do it.
I know, bitch.
Yes, you are, first of all. And second of all, adding a splash of water or some ice doesn't make you a bitch. You being you is what makes you a bitch.
I poured the whole sample in this glass.
Let me tell you what makes you a bitch, Ryan. What makes you a bitch is grimacing through the whole episode and saying, oh, it kicks you in the teeth.
It does.
But I'm not going to do anything about it. I'm just going to sit here and complain about it.
Here's my impression of Ryan since he took a taste. He's like, oh, it's pretty good.
You threw him off because you said double barreled, and he's like, oh, this is going to be decadent.
Yeah, I really thought it was. What a movie.
So I think this is earlier than usual, but why don't we just go ahead and rate this and then just bullshit?
Let's do it.
That works.
I want to go first, but then I want to hear Ryan. And then Steven, I think you should go last. So at $150, we're gonna say it's probably $159 or something like that, right? But so in that $150 price range, I'm gonna go 9-1. I still love it. I still think it is a kick-ass bourbon. It is super complex. It's got a ton of baking spices. It's very peppery. It's very interesting. I enjoy it. But I will openly admit that I'm probably giving it a full half point, strictly because I get hazelnut flavor from it, and I can't think of a single other bourbon that I get a strong hazelnut flavor out of. And for that, I give it a full half point probably, just for the uniqueness, because it's so unusual and I like hazelnut. So that's why I'm at a 9.1. I know that $150 is not expensive. but sometimes you gotta just fucking splurge. And is this bottle 5 times as good as a $30 bottle? No, it's not. But it's really fucking good. And I think it's worth $150. I'm trying to think of other bottles that are $150 that I would like compare it to. And there are some out there. Bomburgers, Shanks, those are in that same price range. Well, actually, they're a little bit less expensive. But I think that it's a solid pour. And I think that 9.1 is good. And part of owning the bottle, is just knowing that you spent $150 on it. And the uniqueness really carries it a long way. So 9.1, I really enjoy it. I like the spiciness. I love the hazelnut, and it's a really good sipper. That's where I'm at.
All right, I'll go. And I am in a little different area than you, Dan. A lot for what you mentioned. I didn't really get hazelnut on it, but I'll get hazelnut coffee and everything like that. I don't think I've ever eaten a hazelnut, if that's a thing.
Never had like a Ferrero Rocher?
No. Well, I've had a little bite, but I'm like, I don't really like this.
Nutella? Have you ever had Nutella?
That's true. Yeah, Nutella. I have, but I still don't get that. I don't know. Maybe my palate's not as refined, but I love the nose. The cherry taffy to it, the vanilla, the caramel. It was so decadent and nice. And I said right before we started tasting it, like, I really hope it tastes like the nose, because we've had a few, in the past 6 months where I'm like, oh, this nose is awesome. And then I try it and it's kick you in the face with baking spices, which sometimes I like, if it has that finish of decadence on it. But this didn't really have any of those notes that I got from the nose on the palate or the finish. I thought the baking spices were a little too much for me. The peppery, it was a lot of tobacco. I mentioned it felt like I was smoking a cigar, just because a few minutes after I got done drinking it, it really did taste like a few minutes after you're done smoking a cigar, you still get the remnants of that cigar in your mouth. And that's what it reminded me of. Still very complex. It's very good. The color is great. The legs are awesome on it. But I'm going to go with 7.8. A little bit lower. Wasn't as decadent as I hoped it would be for a 12-year double barrel.
Yeah, I am going to give it a 9 exactly. The importance of that rating to me is that I like it just a little bit less than like Smoke Wagon, which means that, is it worth it from a money standpoint? I can't really say that it is for that reason. I also think it's a tough sell to tell somebody to basically go to the distillery physically to get this. I wish it was more available, even if it was like harder to come by it, but it had some sort of distribution. I feel like that model would be like, keep an eye out for it. As it stands, I think that a lot of the notes that I appreciate and like in this, I have loved in Smoke Wagon, which is becoming more and more easy to find. So because of the notes being similar, I would steer people more in that direction. So I wanted the score to reflect that. That said, it's still a great bottle. It's a great price proposition, I think, considering the extra premium bottle. I'd have a hard time pointing to a bottle that feels more premium than this one. The thickness of the glass, the knurled top, how heavy that cork is. I think that it's a phenomenal gift, is what I would say. People, when we're talking about gift whiskeys, I think this is one of the top. People are not going to come across this really unless they go to the distillery. It feels super premium, and it's really good juice in it. I just wish it was easier to find, basically. That holds it back for me. It's one of the highest rated whiskeys that I don't know that I can recommend, basically. That's where it falls for me. And I can see people not liking it as much, like Ryan, for instance. It totally fits my palate. But to somebody else who it doesn't, I can see it being more hit or miss.
I would never buy the bottle for myself, but I think it is a great gift whiskey and would look awesome on a bar.
And I think that Ryan, if you were at Lux Row, excuse me, if you were at Lux Row and you had not tried it from Stephen first, you would drop $150 for this bottle faster than fucking anything, because everything about it seems like something that you would like. It's a premium looking bottle. It is double barreled. All of those things that you think you would like would make you want to spend $150 on this bottle. And then you'd get it home and you wouldn't be happy with the bottle. So everybody out there listening, you're welcome. We just saved you $150 if you don't like spicy bourbons. But what I really wanted to say, though, was that, Stephen, I agree with most of what you said, that I don't think you should go to the distillery to buy a bottle. I think you should go to Lux Row Distillery to go to Lux Row Distillery. And while you're there, if one of these bottles is available, I think you should buy it. If you go to Lux Row and you're at Lux Row enjoying the distillery and having a day there, and they don't have one of these bottles out, don't go back the next day to see if they have one out. If it's there, buy it. If it's not, fucking move along, right? Like, it has a nice story to it. So once you're 6 months removed from being at the distillery and you've got friends over and you pour them a glass, you can relive your moments at the distillery. You can talk about the coolness of the 118.4 proof. You can talk about how heavy the goddamn stopper is, and in reality, it's only the price of the weight of a cheap stapler. But it seems so goddamn heavy because other corks are 4 grams or 11 grams or whatever the hell they were. And together, that makes sense for me to make the purchase, but only if it's on the shelf or available at the distillery when you're there. That's it.
Yeah. People might disagree on how good some of the whiskey is, but they know how to package a fucking bottle. Between this and like Blood Oath, they've had some really nice looking releases, and I look forward to more from them. And anytime they have a premium release, I'll be among those interested, just because it's just a celebration to me of the distillery and of whiskey. So.
Another bourbon show. Another bourbon show. Another bourbon show.
You know what you should do? It would be a challenge. To measure, like, to weigh the difference between a flaccid and an erect penis. But it would be challenging because, like how do you lay an erect penis on a scale, right? Like,
you would have to do it in a different way. You would need to, like, you know how you like weigh a fish?
Yeah.
Kind of like that, I'd assume.
Well, but it's still attached, so.
Well, I guess what I mean is you would hang it off your dick, not pull up. You know what I'm saying?
Then you're weighing the scale, not the dick.
Oh, I suppose you are. There has to be like a resistance measurement thing that, like, based on the resistance, it can tell you how many like pounds of force are being pulled up, though, right?
Well, but that's force. That's not weight.
Yeah. I guess there's no way to do it. I guess there's no way to do it.
Okay, I'm gonna Google how do you weigh a erect penis.
This is what happens when Ryan's late.
So you know how you would get the most accurate weight of like the difference between, because what I was trying to figure out was the weight difference between a flaccid and a erect penis, right?
Mhm.
So the way you would, you'd have to drain the blood out of it.
Oh yeah. That would work.
That would. That is a.
I can
that
see
would-
you. I can see you like a deadpan, like a stoic like face, like just like doing it to yourself and being like, "You don't know how to do research, Steve."